Hey Keith, so do you truly believe in your heart that we're living in the last 10 years?
Absolutely. It's going to be less than 10 years.
So like seven, you think?
Well, you got to look at all the pictures. See, people say, well, you're not supposed to predict. And I'm not predicting a particular date or
Yeah,
time.
we're not setting. Yeah, let's put that straight.
But the Bible says you don't know the day or the hour. It doesn't say you don't know the month or the year. Okay? It specifically doesn't say that. And so I believe, based upon all the information, and I've done a lot of research, and I'm not an expert on anything, but I do believe that the year of Jubilee is very important to God. And that a lot of really good things happened during a year of Jubilee. And the Bible tells us that when the Messiah comes back, guess what? It's going to be a year of Jubilee. That's part of the promise. When Jesus went into the synagogue in Nazareth, when he started his ministry, they handed him the scroll. It was on the Day of Atonement, and he read from Isaiah 61 that said he was the fulfillment of Jubilee. The great day of the Lord, the year of release. That is a reference to what the Bible calls the Jubilee. So when Jesus comes back at the end of the age, the next year and the beginning of his kingdom, the beginning of the 1,000 years, will be a Jubilee. And if you go back and do your history, you'll understand that on God's calendar, the final Jubilee, the 120th Jubilee, which equals the end of the sixth age, is less than 10 years away. And we can tie that into the ministry of Christ because it's the same year that Jesus started his ministry and was baptized in the Jordan River by John the Baptist. So if you do your homework and say, what year was Jesus born? When did he start his ministry? And what year did Jubilees fall on in the Bible that are documented? You can get to the same year, and that is at the beginning of Jesus' ministry, not at the end. Some people say, well, we think it ends on the year 30, because Jesus died on the cross in the year 30 AD, and so that obviously is the time frame. But I don't believe that's the case. I believe when Jesus presented himself as the Messiah, the clock stopped, and then we know that the reason Jesus had so many people following him was because it was part of a Sabbath year. The people didn't have to work. They had the Shemitah, which is the Jewish word for a land Sabbath, where every 7 years you don't process the land. And so the people were following history because they didn't have to work in the fields. They had a year off. So that would line up with the concept of Jubilee at the time of Jesus. They weren't celebrating it in Israel when Jesus came. They had already stopped. But God doesn't stop keeping track. It's his calendar, and his calendar continues even if everybody else is ignoring it. So anyway, we could maybe do a follow-up on that when we do our little study, because it's going to be a new year pretty quick. The 2nd of April becomes the first day of the new year on the Gregorian calendar. So we're really just about 3 or 4 weeks away from a whole brand new year. The world calls it Easter. We call it Pesach. But that's the time frame where God says, okay, we're going to start a new year, new beginnings. It's springtime. Everything's new again.